So, good morning, good night, or someone told me, do not say good night, say good evening. Okay, whatever. Good evening
Yeah.
around the world, and welcome to a very special episode of Is It That Bad? Because this is episode 100.
Oh
So,
yeah.
we've done 100 of these episodes, and I believe JC being in 78 episodes of 100.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it's fitting that for this episode 100, JC has to be in it because JC was in episode 1. So we have JC. How are you, man?
Doing good. Thanks. Mhm.
Yeah. We couldn't have Tom because right now it's like 2 a.m. where he is. So it would be too much where he is. So we have JC. We have Chili from Live Listening Erase. How are you, man?
I'm good, thank you. And well, it's great to be on the show because, hold me now, because I'm 6 minutes from giving my first impression.
Good Scott. So you just and people will know like, oh, we know what we're talking about. And finally, we have Rocco Folages. How are you, man?
Hi.
Rocco Folages, he's bachelor pimp with the
Now I have a couch.
and you
I
and you
think
put
I
that,
think I've seen that couch somewhere before.
Really? Odd.
on this episode 100, we're gonna have instead of 3 rounds, we're gonna have a 4th round because we need to talk about the artwork of this album. So if you guessed it, Chili singed. We're talking about the almighty Creed. And Creed, it's funny because back in the day, people gave Creed a lot of shit, but right now they're, I think, more popular than when they first came out. They're doing a cruise. Apparently, young people love them. I'm not kidding. Chili, young people are crazy about Creed nowadays.
What are they going on, the Costa Concordia?
They're crazy about Creed now.
Do we have to save the kids again?
Women and children first, Creed last. They go down with the
Oh,
ship.
Van Halen. Nice.
So we're gonna talk about Creed's third album, which is called Weather. And so before we talk about the artwork, this album was their third album, and it did get mixed reviews. A lot of like reviews that I read, people were like the critics were complaining that it was a little bit too bloated, too samey sounding, and pretentious was a word that I heard a lot. Yeah, this is their third album, and I remember I had this on CD. I had this on CD, and this album cover it's pretty atrocious. So for this episode, since it's episode 100, we're gonna start with first JC because he's been since the first episode. Then we'll do Chili, Rocco Falages, then me. So JC, what do you think about this artwork, man?
It's kind of weird. I guess they're trying to like play off of Deep Purple's in rock, but they're in a tree and not in a mountain. I guess that's what I got from it. Like they've been carved in a tree.
Yeah, and if you can see, their bass player is missing. I think he left the band at that moment,
Oh,
right?
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they were a three-piece at this time.
I think
I think Hulk Hogan tried out for the bass on this one.
Rest in piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in piss.
So, Chili, what do you think of the artwork?
Oh my god. I think I've designed better things while sitting on the toilet. Yeah, it always struck me as this really ugly thing. And you mentioned like it was all around. I remember seeing this album at my local library, the one that I got so many CDs from and influenced my music back in the day. And this was like always there and never borrowed. And I remember looking at it thinking, this is like the ugliest artwork I think I've seen in a long time. It's just these tones are brown and how is this appetizing to look at? It's just yuck.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated that in Australia, you could check out like music in libraries.
One
Yeah,
of the,
I used to
one of
do.
the wonderful things.
Oh,
I used to be able to do it back in New York. Yeah.
I have a couple libraries near me where you could like check out a CD.
Yeah.
No libraries in Puerto Rico had CDs, so I was screwed. So, Rock of Ages, what do you think of the artwork?
Apparently Mark Tremonti got his brother to design this. Actually, his brother designed all their album covers. So I don't know what the fuck happened here because their first two albums had, I'm not going to say the most amazing artwork ever, but it did not look like this.
Maybe he was fired after that because Alter Bridge has their album cover. So yeah, to me, when
The family dinners in the Tremonti household were very awkward after this.
probably it's just so weird because even the faces, they look like they're not they're not enthusiastic to be on this record. They're like, yes, put us, and you see they're carving on the tree. So yeah, it's a very bad artwork that I don't know if I thought it was bad when it came out, but yeah, when I looked at it, I'm like, the first thing I thought is like, oh, I forgot how bad the artwork was. So, yeah, so let's go to round one, which is round two today, for the first impressions from this album. So, JC, your first impressions.
Okay. I'm kind of a fan of the band. I bought the Human Clay album, the one before it. I like that one. I never listened to this one before front to back though. I knew the singles. I knew One Last Breath. I think I did a video on it on my channel once, but one thing I noticed was that there were a few songs in the front half that are heavier than they normally are. So that was kind of a surprise to hear. And then towards the middle of the album, they sound like pretty much like I expected them, like from the Human Clay album. So, and then when I pick my worst songs in the second round, there's going to be a track towards the end that I'm going to pick. But otherwise, I think the middle of the album was not too bad, and maybe a little bit of filler, but I think there are some decent tracks here. So that's all I'll say for now. Yeah.
Good impressions, JC. What about you, Shili?
Oh yeah, I definitely knew Creed back in the day. I had their best of CD, and that was the only thing I ever had. So knew the hits very well. Especially that one song that spawned a million memes in the future. So it was really good memories with this music. But I've never heard any of their albums in full. So going into this episode, I decided to go through their entire discography. There's only 4 records, so it's not exactly a hard thing to do.
My methods are catching on.
Yeah, I know, eh? I'm learning a thing or two here from Rock of All Ages. Luckily, I didn't do it for Thor. But anyway,
yeah.
so I went back. Don't have the time for that one. But yeah, I went back and listened to the entire discography, and I got to say, like the Rose Tinted Glasses really got smashed harder than Scott Stapp at a concert that he passed out mid performance at. You know,
That was
I
on
had
the tour for this album, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was on the tour. It was like a couple of months after this thing came out. I had these expectations for the band and their music, but I wasn't ready for what was on this album, especially when you get like a near 10-minute Creed track on the record. More on that later. I don't want to give away too much, of course, but I feel a bit deflated after this album, to be honest, when I listen to it.
Really? Did Creed cut your feedback?
That was him being deflated.
Bro, I thought you were frozen for a second. You were just standing there for a second, like, is he gonna say something else? No. I was deflated by what I listened to from the album. Like, I was expecting this, and yeah, it came down a bit lower.
Good first impressions. When he stopped talking, I'm like, Shili, what's wrong, man? Scott, stop deflated you, man.
Scott Stapp deflated himself.
Eesh.
Yeah, did you ever watch that interview that he did that he was drunk and he was throwing like karate kicks all over the interview?
Maybe back in the day, I can't remember it now.
Hector, you need to send me that.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, yes.
like it was hilarious. He was so drunk.
Karate crunk.
Karate, he was doing karate stuff. I think it was something on MTV, but it has to be somewhere on YouTube. It's classic drunk Scott Stapp.
So
So
just Scott Stapp in general.
Scott Stapp. So Rock of Ages, your first impressions with Weathered.
This was not a first impression because I had heard this album before, and I actually did pick this album because I knew Hector liked doing episodes where we make fun of the album art.
This album art is just it's begs to make fun of.
Mm-hmm.
It's special.
So we had actually talked about doing a different album for episode 100, but he did a couple extra videos in the past week. So here we are with Creed, who admittedly is also a great candidate for episode 100.
Mm.
I have talked about Creed a lot on my channel, not because I'm a fan, but because between 1997 and 2003, they were everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Worth mentioning that, as we alluded to when we were talking about the album cover, this was the only album that Creed made as a trio. Bass player Brian Marshall had left the band in 2000, so Mark Tremonti had to play the guitar and bass parts, which is to say the band did put some effort into this album, more effort than Scott Stapp put into being a good father. If you know, you know.
Or Rehab.
At least he did it with arms wide open.
There are moments in the first third of the album, as JC mentioned, where you can hear the band experimenting and being heavier. However, once you hit One Last Breath on the track list, it becomes yet another Creed album, for better or for worse. I am pretty sure I've heard this album in full at some point in the past, but I only remembered My Sacrifice. Kind of suggests that a number of these tracks go in one ear and out the other. Heck, on my channel, I gave a positive score to the title track, and I thought it was one of Creed's better singles, but I still couldn't tell you a single lyric from the song. Although part of that might just be because Scott Stapp cannot enunciate for shit. In
Living
short,
embodiment of the Family Guy thing.
oh yeah, the 90s singer who only sings A. Yeah.
Yeah.
In short, Weathered is a mixed bag of an album.
Hence why we're covering it.
Mm-hmm.
Good first impression. So I actually did listen to Creed when they started out. I actually bought their first album, My Own Prison. Human Clay, I think is their best album. As a full album with, you have like, we're there for you, like, so, like, yeah, but that song was ruined because there. JC, do you remember the episode about? So we were talking about apparently Kid Rock and
Yeah.
and Scott Stapp did a porno.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Wait,
I think we
what?
talked about that.
that was in the controversial artist episode.
Wait, hold on. What? I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. They were together at some after party or something and ended up like filming a porno together with some chick or whatever.
Scott
It was like,
Stapp, the religious guy,
And-
made a
yeah,
porn.
and Kid Rock.
Well, Kid Rock, I
Super
expect
Bowl.
that from him, but Scott Stapp?
Dude, Jesus told him.
Jesus has risen.
It's interesting because you did an episode on Is It That Bad about a Scott Stapp solo album, but I was surprised you hadn't done one about Creed before.
Because we were waiting for episode 100, man.
It's
Yeah,
true. It's
you-
true.
With arms wide open, we embrace this record.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I did listen to this album when it came out, but I do remember My Own Prison and Human Clay. The songs from that are very memorable. From this album, I only remember My Sacrifice and One Last Breath. Especially, I remember the music video for My Sacrifice because Scott Stapp was on a boat for some reason. There was a flood, and I don't know, but
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the only reason you remember those songs is because they're just copies of Higher.
what?
They're just copies of Higher. That's why people remember them.
Probably. But also, uh, Tremonti, which I follow, is a great guitar player. Like after he left Creed, he did amazing music with Alter Bridge, and I was discussing this with Chili because he didn't know much. I'm like, check out Tremonti solo albums. The dude is supremely talented, and he can actually sing too. And in Tremonti, he has some. He goes with harder music, more solos. In Creed, he has to be contained.
Yeah, I talked about this with Chili. We did a video on my channel, and we talked about an Alter Bridge song. And I brought up this interview that Mark Tremonti once did, where when he was writing songs in Creed, he would go to the rest of the band and say, "Hey guys, check this out. This is badass," and like play them a riff or something. And the rest of the band would be like, "That's just not what we do, Mark."
But it's funny because Brian Marshall and the drummer are now in Alter Bridge. Alter Bridge is basically Creed with a different singer.
And with way fewer albums sold.
Mm.
I mean, it is a sacrifice worth making.
Yes.
¿Cómo te sientes?
Bien.
Sí, mejor.
They'll stand here with me, you know, like.
Yeah.
Hang on, I think someone's wife came into the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
She's like, what the hell?
JC, I think you forgot to mute yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't worry about that. I just said, yeah, my wife came home. She was just checking in on me, but yeah.
This is that bad. We don't mute, we don't edit. Well, as the video is, we go in raw, baby. So
We're raw dogging Creed,
just like
everyone.
that porno.
man, I don't
haven't watched it and I don't plan to.
I don't know if they did like a zoom on little Scott Stappy. And he was like, hold me now, I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm freaking. So I regress. Let me go into my first impression. So I did listen to this album when it came out, but I had not listened to this album in years. And after this, they put out another album, Full Circle, which I remember even less. But just to let you, I saw Creed in concert in 2010. They actually played in Puerto Rico. And it was a good concert, but I also saw Tremonti with Tremonti's band. So I've seen Tremonti playing his own stuff and with Creed. But this is an album that I just remember two songs I didn't remember it. And going back to it, I was like, yeah, it's a mixed bag of like, there's like a super long Creed song. So
yeah,
like returning to it, I'm like, I thought a lot of like, there wasn't enough like hooks on this album, like compared to Human Clay or My Own Prison. There were like more memorable tracks on those two albums. So I think that after Human Clay, their other two albums, they kind of lack that, except My Sacrifice and One Last Breath. Those are the two songs that I would say are the catchiest. So yeah, those are our first impressions. So let's talk now round two, where we pick 3 or 4 songs. So
technically round 3 this time.
It's round 3 this time. So JC,
Okay. Yeah. So before I was talking about how the front half of the album is a little heavier, and I thought those were some of the weaker tracks. So my first pick is going to be Freedom Fighter. I thought they were just trying to sound like Rage Against the Machine with that guitar riff. And for that reason, I just thought this song didn't really work for this type of band. Now, the one after this is called Who's Got My Back? It's 8 minutes and 26 seconds, so it drags on for maybe just too long. They could have trimmed it down to 4 minutes. It would have been a decent song, but just because of the length alone. I thought it was just one of the worst ones because it just went on for too long. Now, at this point in the album, there's like one more track and then One Last Breath and My Sacrifice, and the rest of it sounds like Creed. But towards the end of the album, there's one song I thought was bad. It was a single. It's called "Don't Stop Dancing." It's a cheesy power ballad. If you watch the music video, they're playing inside of a church, and it's just really very simple, very cheesy, and very generic. So that's why I picked that one as my third. But so that's it. Those are my three.
We need to save the children from that song.
Brandon.
See, so what about you, Sheely?
Let's see. I wrote up notes for three, but I'm actually going to throw a fourth one in at the very end of it. First one I've got is "Who's Got My Back." You can't call yourself a Christian unless you milk a Native Americans for profit, and that's what's going on here. Who asked for an 8-minute Creed song? Nobody. They aren't Anthrax. They don't care about the movement like Marlon Brando did, and in fact, by their own admission, they started a band to get famous. But clearer heads didn't prevail when writing this song and throwing in the weird shit at the beginning and the end and this weird elongated song. It's just too bloody long. Who's Got My Back? Not me, but maybe some Painkiller Medicine might have your back, because that might be the source of the inspiration for these lyrics.
Or
what I'm
Jesus.
going to need. Or Jesus on Painkiller Medicine, who knows? But I guess I need some Painkiller Medicine after listening to this song. The next one I had was Signs. On the rare occasion Scott has written some half-decent lyrics, this is not such a song. My favorite line from this song has to be the exact part where it says, "This is not about sex. We all know sex sells and the whole world is buying. We're buying. Yeah." Deep. Very deep. And also what anyone learns in the first day if they were studying marketing at university. Come on, man. We all know sex sells. It's pretty much the broad definition of what marketing is. Funnily enough, there is a note on Song Genius stating that, there's an annotation for this lyric stating that this is one of their best lyrics Creed has ever written. And I'm not sure if this is meant as a joke or if they share the same crayon box Scott uses when writing these songs.
Honestly, knowing Genius, either is plausible.
Yep, it's an extremely boring song, and I don't want to know anything about this one. I mean, if sex truly sells, why did you pick this dumpster fire of an album cover? Whatever. I guess they got the last laugh anyway. This thing went 6 million. This thing sold 6 million records.
6 times platinum, yeah.
Yeah, fuck me. I don't know what to say about that. But then again, people have been duped before and they will do so again. The third pick that I had was Lullaby. If Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds had no talent left, they would have written this song. It tries to capture on that sound, but just fails because they're Creed. This song is just so asinine that it would send me to sleep. So I guess it has its use, but it's a shame about the other 3 people in the car at the time I was driving though. Sorry. And the last one I'm going to mention, bit of controversy here. One Last Breath.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking.
Now, I was thinking about this on the way here to do this episode. Now, it's a great episode. It's a great song. It is. But the reason I'm picking it is that memes have ruined it. Every time I hear that opening riff, all I can think about is some dumb, bloody meme that's just associated to this one. There are just so many memes that I can't take this song seriously. It's a joke at this point. So memes have ruined One Last Breath for me.
Good picks, man. And Lullaby, man, it's all about you need to love. I'm like, okay, you need to love, man. Kumbaya.
Snap is on his kumbaya shit.
I say kumbaya. Let's roast some s'mores and carve our faces in a tree.
Yeah.
We could sit around the tree chanting native Indian songs to this weathered looking tree of Creed on there.
They're like, oh, weathered. So, good pick. So what about you, Rock of All Ages?
Uh, third worst for me was Stand Here With Me. Just plain old bad vocals, especially when Scott Stapp sings the title line. Second is I'm actually going to agree with Chili on this one. One Last Breath, but not because of the memes. It's just, it's funny that the album goes from Signs to this with no transition in between. It's not a gradual thing. It just goes from a super heavy song to a copy
Power
of
ballad.
Higher. This and My Sacrifice, as I said earlier, were just copies of Higher. And lesser copies at that, if you can believe it. One Last Breath isn't totally awful, but if I had to pick, I would say My Sacrifice is the better of the two copies.
Yeah.
And then my pick for the worst song on the album is the opening track, Bullets. The chorus sounds like Scott Stapp is trying to sound like Scott Weiland. But there are moments where I swear Scott Stapp is just straight up off key. Who heard that and thought, yes, let's make that not only a single, but the album opener?
I actually like that track. It's
I
okay.
mean, it's I
I think
like
Mark
it in
saves it a lot.
theory, but like they really needed to get a different singer for that song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give it to Alter Bridge.
that's why
Exactly, Alter Bridge. Just listen to Alter Bridge instead.
we got Miles Kennedy. So good picks. So I'm gonna pick my songs. I got three, but I have like a fourth one as a extra. So
Mm.
the first one is Who's Got My Back? First of all, that first minute and intro with the India, oh, no, no, no. I felt like it was like Jim Morrison from The Doors was talking. Have you seen Wayne's World where he's like talking to the India? He's like, yes, it should. If you play Creed, they will come. Because
Oh, and Creed did that Riders on the Storm cover.
yes,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I think Scott Stapp did sing in a VH1 Storyteller where they brought different singers to sing Jim Morrison songs, and Scott Stapp sang one. So yeah,
They must have had a restricted budget for it then.
that intro with the Indian, I thought this is pretentious as fuck. Like it's trying to be deep, and then at the middle where he says like, "Who's got my back?" and I'm like, no one, man. no, no one has your back. It's just too long, and that weird chanting. It's just like I don't know if they tried to do like a progressive song, like let's be a progressive Creed song or something.
You know who does good progressive songs with chants?
Who?
Look at your shirt and tell me.
Uh-huh.
Ah,
Yes, but come on, comparing Tool to Creed,
Oh, fuck.
there's no comparison. So I got my back. I also got Signs.
Yes.
The lyrics to this song are one of the most cringy lyrics that I think Scott Stapp has ever done. Like talking about sex, and then he's like talking about like money, and he's got like a very repetitive guitar as well.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't. It just sounded like very weird and very weird ass lyrics. The first song that I picked was "Don't Stop Dancing." That chorus, "Children, don't stop dancing." I just thought of that, and then when I was listening to the song, I'm like, we gotta save the children from this song.
you gotta save the children.
Save
Los
the children, people.
muchachos.
Children, stop hearing this.
And we gotta save Scott Stapp's children too.
Apparently, so yeah, it was a very, very bad song. So as a fourth pick, I went between I had it was a toss-up between Freedom Fighter and Lullaby, but I'm picking Lullaby because
Yeah.
what a boring album closer. It was like a kumbaya motherfucker, like we gotta love we gotta love everyone, and then it kept love something, love, love, love. I'm like, okay, we get it. You gotta love it. Even it's so boring. I imagine Tremonti like bored as hell, like trying to like, oh my god, this song. So it was a very boring ass song, but it's called Lullaby. So at least they named it correctly. But yeah, so those are like my free picks, and Lullaby is like my extra. So now let's go to the fourth round, where we give our final impressions and we vote thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So JC, your last thoughts and vote.
Okay, yeah, let me unmute. Yeah, I think it's an album where the front and the back are weaker, but the middle is pretty decent. Like, I guess for me, I liked the singles, One Last Breath. I mean, the music video is super cheesy. He's falling off a cliff and he's singing and all that. But otherwise, the song is okay. I don't mind listening to it. Same thing with the other, My Sacrifice there, like playing in the middle of this flood. But again, decent song. The other songs, I didn't really mind. Stand Here With Me, that was okay. Weathered, Hide. Hide kind of reminded me of Smashing Pumpkins a little bit. Then the last two songs were a little weaker, but not horrible. So I think now the first two Creed albums were better than this, but I don't think it's that bad. So this might be controversial, but I'm going thumbs up. Yeah.
So that's why we do this, man. So we got our first vote, thumbs up. So now let's go to Chile.
To me, Creed puts about as much effort in their songwriting as their album artwork. It's yeah, pretty abundant how it works here. But yeah, their debut record looks like it was taken from a photo shoot held by a Catholic priest. Human Clay looks like it has worse graphics than the Scorpion King, if that was even possible. And Weathered look and Weathered looks like an Instagram filter gone wrong. I just don't know. Like these guys just
Wait, Chile. So you can talk about the Instagram.
This is an Instagram filter, people. I'm telling you right now, this right here, that is an Instagram filter that you can apply to your phone. It's called the Weathered look. You know you like it. Hashtag Creed Weathered. Anyway, but yeah, it's one of these things that you look at the album artwork and you're going, fuck, this is terrible. Wonder how the finished product is. You know, going back and listening to it, it was pretty shocking. You know, a lot of songs were pretty crap to me, and there were just a couple of tracks here and there that were all right. It's weird because, you know, everyone harps on about, say, Iron Maiden and the artwork for Dance of Death, but somehow everyone forgets Creed. And it's ironic because JC's wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt over there. I wrote that note without.
Iron Maiden is one of the greatest metal bands of all time.
Yeah, but
Yes.
They get a pass.
Yeah, but
They get a pass. They get one pass, everyone. But, you know, Creed, they put out 3 terrible album covers. Anyway, I heard someone describe Scott as the untalented clone of Eddie Vedder. If Eddie Vedder had been crossed with a literal asshole, and I agree with that statement. You know, it reminds me a bit of like the infamous concert that we mentioned before, where he literally just passed out on stage mid-performance. I think he was only like 4 songs in. He was really drunk, slurring his words, slamming the microphone on the ground, and just fell asleep by the 4th track in their set list. This resulted in a lawsuit from the fans for their attendance getting their money back and all this other shit that didn't really accumulate to anything. But I want to know if I can actually sue the band for listening to their albums. You know, as such, I guess people are going to think that I'm going to give this Christian rock band a thumbs down. But despite Scott stating otherwise, they are a Christian rock band. His lyrics certainly paint the picture. This album is saved purely by 2 songs: One Last Breath and My Sacrifice. Now, I know I mentioned One Last Breath as one of the worst tracks, but it's still an okay tune. I don't mind it. It's this love-hate relationship with it now. That's where I describe it.
Chile,
And
down.
yeah. It's just like I'll listen to it and I'll be like, fuck, this reminds me of good times when I was back in the day. And then I'll listen to it again and like another day and I'll be like, bloody hell, that meme the other day I saw ruined it for me. So yeah, it's a toss up between the two. But actually, speaking of songs and memes, has anyone seen the video clip to One Last Breath if it was realistic?
No,
Which
I haven't
one?
seen that.
It's great. You got to watch it. It's basically because they're all standing up on cliffs and the camera's zooming far away.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
it's
like
the
Scott
audio.
Stapp is like falling down the cliff. Right?
Yeah, it's like Scott Stapp falling down the cliff. It's like, yeah, like singing the lyrics. It's really good. I'll try and make a short on this, but it's funny. Like it's endearing to me. Like some of the memes are good for it, but yeah. Anyway, so for me, I'm getting a thumb sideways. Yeah, I can't give it a thumbs up. I can't give it a thumbs down either.
So it's a one thumbs up, one thumb sideways. What about you, Rock of Ages?
Fun fact, Human Clay was the 5th best-selling album of the entire 2000s decade in the US. It makes sense that the band, or perhaps more accurately their label Wind Up, would want to do more of that, hence My Sacrifice and One Last Breath. But at the same time, when I listen to the first 4 songs, I hear a band that really, really wants to make awesome music, and yet they're being held back. Maybe by Scott Stapp, maybe by their A&R. Who can say? What I know for certain is that Alter Bridge is a superior band. Ultimately, however, I think Weathered might actually be a decent album. Granted, if you want a much better rock or metal album from 2001, you are spoiled for choice. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Tool, System of a Down, Slipknot, Converge, Opeth, The Strokes, The White Stripes, Muse, Incubus, Sum 41, Blink 182. They all released albums that year that are more worthy of your time. But judging Weathered on its own merits, it's tolerable. I could get through it pretty easily from start to finish. And it has its moments, but you know what? I'll give it this. It's not as boring as the Stained album from that year.
Oh, shut up! That album's good. I don't care. I'll
No,
defend that.
no, I'm sorry. It's Been a While is such a slow song.
14 Shades of Grey. is a
I like that
great
album
record.
actually. Yeah.
Dude, are we
The
talking about Break the Cycle?
Break the
Oh,
Cycle.
Break
Oh,
the
sorry,
Cycle,
Break
that's
the
the one.
Cycle.
It's a fucking.
Oh, I thought you meant break. I thought you meant 14 Shades of Grey.
No.
No, Break the Cycle is a good one.
Yeah,
No,
that's a
I'm
good-
sorry. I'm
that's a
sorry.
good
I
one.
find Stained so boring. Part of that might be, just me hating Aaron Lewis's politics, but
Yeah, but you gotta.
I
guess
can
it's
feel
more
the keyboard warriors typing away right this moment.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
put
been a while.
plus Rock of Ages. He probably killed that bear. That's
oh, I have serious issue with him if he did.
like
Anyway, I'm gonna give Weathered a very slight thumbs up.
a slight thumbs up. Wait, did Nickelback put an album in 2001?
Yeah,
Silver
I think
Side
it
Up.
did.
Yeah.
The one with
Yeah.
How You Remind Me.
Ah,
And that's actually a decent album as well.
that's the best one, I believe.
It's one of the better ones, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, so he had a thumbs up, a thumb sideways, a weird Rock of All Ages tilted thumb. So now my last impression. So yeah, I think that the first 2 Creed albums are stronger, and this is not the worst Creed album. The worst Creed album is Full Circle. The one that they try to make a comeback, that's a terrible album.
I thought that was actually all right.
I think this one's better.
I think it was more consistently better than some of the other records they've put out. Let me put it that way.
Maybe I have to revisit it. So for me,
Hmm.
this is what I put. So the weakest thing on this record is Scott Stapp's vocals. That's a given.
Yes.
But I like songs, Sacrifice, One Last Breath, and there's a song that I think I put. This is like a guilty pleasure, and it's Hide because it's like I'm gonna hide. Don't want anyone know that I listen to Creed. That's what I thought. Like,
Well, I mean, Creed sold like a bajillion records, so not really something you can keep secret very well.
yeah, but
Mm.
they're popular now again. Younger people are actually listening to
And
Creed.
you gotta save the children, man.
Well, there's more evil stuff to save them from.
Mhm.
So yeah, And the album, the songs that are bad, I think they are bad because of some things, but I don't think this album has like atrociously like bad song. But it's also not perfect. So I'm giving it a thumb sideways. So this album is actually saved.
Wow.
Is it?
Saved like Jesus.
I think
Wait,
it was no. Oh yeah, it was. It was safe. Sorry. Yes. Yes.
we'll say because it's one thumbs up, you're sideways, and Rock of Ages like almost up. So it's like it's saved. It's like in the ledge of he's like hold me now. It's got
He's 6 inches from the edge at this point. You know, like his ball hair is just sticking over the edge, and that's how close he was to being yoinked out of existence.
well, sure people are yeah, they're just going to shit on Creed, but no, let's keep like I think there are like the musicians they're very talented. Hence they did you know, like Alter Bridge. And Scott Stapp, yeah, he's like a second-rate Eddie Vedder, but there's some
Third-rate.
things that he wrote that were good. I think some of the weakest are on this record, but still, I give it a pass. You know, I've heard worse things than this, so it's actually we said here it's not that bad. So yeah, we want to know from you, Couchers, what do you think of Creed Weather? Would you say it's a thumbs up, sideways, thumbs down? You're done.
Chili's daughter wants to share some thoughts.
She's going, no, I want this down. I want to vote thumbs down on this one.
What's your? She's like, why? She wants to comment like it sucks or it's good. So yeah. So coming up next on Is It That Bad? We gotta do. There's a few episodes in mind. So there's a new Machine Gun Kelly coming out, but I think we need to do the Van Halen episode for
Van Halen 3.
Van Halen 3, which was going to be episode 100, but then I had to do an episode for that Grizzly album by Slaughter to Prevail. But yes, I want to thank my guests for joining me. So JC, thank you for being on this journey with me since the beginning.
Yeah, good time. Have fun.
Good times. I'm gonna sing Lullaby now for you.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I needed.
Do you want to get demonetized?
We're like, I can't get demonetized playing because I have no musical talent to play. So like
Oh, so you'll fit right in then.
I had that exact same thought.
And obviously Chile, who's been I've been doing videos now with Chile for like 2 years, I think. No,
Yeah, about that.
yeah, since 2023. So Chile, I know you have coming up some interesting things.
Got some stuff coming up soon, yes. Couple of episodes, bits and bobs of stuff that's happening in the music scene from years ago, and retro reviews as well on famous albums. And there's always 5-minute reviews. But yes, also I'm bringing back in the live listener race series back up to Vibes. I've been speaking with a few people on this panel about doing a couple of episodes one-on-one this time, and we'll try and tee up probably a bigger episode towards the end of the year.
Awesome, man. And we almost had Matthew on this episode, but he's busy listening to Drug Bale. Yeah, I saw his review, and I'm like, did I listen to the same album that he did?
Yeah, 'cause Matthew gave it a very high score.
Gave it a 9 out of 10, and he liked the sound. I'm like, Matthew, did we listen to the same thing? But but Matthew, hope you're okay. Maybe for the Van Halen episode. And obviously, Rock of All Ages. Like he's got his channel. I think what do you got coming up, man?
In August, a couple things. I do have a video with Matthew towards the end of the month. And then at the start of September, I am doing my own 100th episode.
Ooh.
And
I gave Chili like a hint as to what it's going to be about. And he has guessed correctly, but I haven't told him which band he guessed that it is.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And obviously for me, I have more album reviews, more interviews, and of course, more Is It That Bad's coming out. So, Couchers, thank you for watching. So, until next time, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.